Hello. Uh, Privyet is Philippines.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, hello. I welcome you, dear participant. We are glad to welcome you to second day of the IOFTT forum. Today is day dedicated to the digital tourism and virtual technologies, digital marketing. Gleb Lobach, lead Unity developer at Home Games, one speaker. Gleb.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm happy to see you all here, and I will be happy to present you the VR technology in tourism. I found out some new decent information for you. I hope it's going to be interesting and educational for you. Thank you. So shall we start?
Yeah, of course, we can start our the second day meeting today. Nice to meet all of you.
Okay, just a second. I will start off the presentation. I'll have to relieve the music. Okay, sorry, I had to reopen the app to demonstrate the screen. And yeah. Okay, is everything visible? Is everything okay? Okay, great.
Yes, it's okay. You can start.
Okay, so basically, why do we need to talk about VR tourism, and why do we even need it at this program? And I think we all heard about the Metaverse throughout the time, and it's getting popularity right now. So I think it's best to talk about these technologies. Basically, how many of you have been to Paris? It's going to be a little bit of interactions, but yeah, I think quite some people were in Paris. Some others maybe will be. It's just a matter of 50 euros for a plane ticket or something like that, and the hotel and stuff. And yeah, it's fairly easy. And I think everyone who wants to will visit Paris one day, and or if they visited already. Yes. Okay. Can you hear me? All right.
There is distraction in the background.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Продолжайте, Глеб. Все в
Okay.
порядке.
Okay. Next one is a Death Valley. I don't know if anyone were here, but it's as the name stands for itself. It's a place with high degrees, and it's pretty difficult to visit, but great sights to see. But how many of you have been there? I pretty much think that no one, but someone will, and it's still pretty much possible. But what about Everest? I don't know if anyone has like spare couple hundred, couple thousands of euros to do this, but I think maybe 1% of couple thousand people will visit it and will have a great experience. Maybe some of them will die because, as everyone knows, it's one of the most difficult adventures you can get on Earth. But what about Cosmos? can you visit the international customer station? Can you do that? I believe tourism in space will be possible in future, but it's still gonna be very costly. And as you know, like a couple of billionaires lately have bought themselves tickets to space. But will you be able to do that? And that's where VR tourism comes in, because you can do all of that just sitting on the couch and have a great experience without endangering your life. We all are familiar with the technology of the 360 videos, 360 images. You have it all around the YouTube, and you can watch any place on earth just with your phone and the couple and the cartoon box that you use just to move around. And it's a 360 image. You will see everything clearly as possible. You can visit nearly every place on earth right now with that. There are lots of apps for that, and you can do that. But I'm here to talk about something else, about something a bit of a more new technology. It's something that can make you actually visit the place in 3D. And one of those apps is Everest VR. Everest VR is an app where you can actually climb on the Mount Everest without endangering your life above. And you will have this great experience. You will see all the sites in high-res image. You will have a great experience in that, and you won't even spend a penny. Yeah. And next one is, sorry. Bring Traveler is an app that also provides you with an opportunity to visit, for example, the Valley of Death and lots of US state sightseeing opportunities. It's a great app, and again, it is in 3D. It's in 3D, and you can experience hitting a rock. You can hear all the sounds of the valley. You can actually feel yourself there. And the thing I want to talk about is actually the technology that makes it possible. It's photogrammetry, and it's as easy as anything can get. The only thing you have to do is make photos from different angles with 40, 70, with 40-70% of the image overlapping. And you just strap it into the Colmap. It's an app that creates you this image, this second image. It is a 3D model, but it's not final yet. It just creates this model, reconstructs it from the images. Then you have this result and you put it in Mesh Lab. And as you can see, this is a third photo in here. This is an actual 3D model that you can use in your app. It is as easy as it gets, because you can actually have 3D space in your app, and it's very easy to use. It's a great experience for anyone. This is like the high end for now. It appeared around 5 years ago, but it was mostly used in 3D printed technology. And now we have apps like this, the Drink Tavern, which is based on this. And you can visit lots of places with it. You just strap on a drone, you make photos, you fill it in the app, and you create this magnificent experience. And as you can see, I was actually pretty impressed when I was researching the subject, because there is actually a VR tour in Lisbon about Lisbon. You have these machines, they call them the jets, and you can actually fly around the city in Lisbon. It's like a VR club. You get in there, you buy the tickets, and you can see all of the places from the bird's height. And it's fascinating to see something like that in the tourism, because there's lots of educational stuff. There are then notes while you fly around Lisbon. You can actually see points of interest, and they provide you with information. You can choose a spot where you would like to, which you would like to visit, and you can have a great time. You can do it like in 40 or 30 minutes, 20 minutes experience. It's 20 minutes experience. You see most of the Lisbon, and you can find the points that are the most interesting to you to visit. And So yeah, this is about this technology, and I see some questions about how to develop these VR tools. So let's speak about that a bit. I'm going to stop the presentation and maybe do some Q&As. Sorry. Okay. So I see there is a question about how to develop this as a common guide. It's pretty fairly easy. Also, there are some services that can help you with that actually develop you this information for you. You can just write to them, pay some money, and develop that. But if you want to go like real in depth as a Unity developer, I would advise you to use Unity, and it's really easy. Mostly, it's 3D. It's intuitive to use. You, as again, you can write down this app that I've told about you as this call map. Call map is used to create the images from. I'm sorry, my camera is off. Okay, sorry. Hello. Write down this call map app. You can use it to create any 3D model from photos. You use a call map, you fill it in with photos, and you get this 3D image. Then you the exported file, you fill in into the MeshLab, and you get a full 3D model that you can use in your app. Then you can just, as a Unity developer, I would advise you to use Unity. Then you can just strap it into Unity, do some visual coding. There is already stuff for that. You can make it fairly easy. And you just strap it into the Unity, you put the mesh, you put the 3D models in there, and you have your VR integrated app with this place that you have scanned and placed. Also, this also VR are commonly used right now with this 360 apps, when you just have an image of a 360 surrounding, and you just watch through a cardboard or a phone just to see where you are. And you can use it to show off your tours, for example, the locations that you will visit. You can use it for the hotels that you will have in your tour, so that every customer would be able to see where they go in, how does it look, and if they're okay with that. So it's pretty useful for you. And okay, yeah, I see Deborah Grant has a high hand. He has a question, I think. Deborah Grant.
No, I'm sorry, that was answering your earlier question about who had been. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. No problem here. So do you have any particular questions about the subject? What would you like to know?
Глеб, вы на все вопросы ответили, которые я вам написала?
I will check it out.
Давайте я озвучу их тогда.
Yes.
There were questions from listeners. Tell me, can a regular guide make a virtual tour himself?
So yeah, I've just answered about that. This is a tour that I was talking about, is a 3D tour. It's more complex to develop, but you can get yourself a developer. It's not going to cost much because you can develop this 3D tour fairly fast. For example, I would be able to develop it like in under 2 days if I had the models. And as I already told you, you can create the models of your own using the apps which are free, CallMap and MeshLab. This is two apps that you'll use to create the 3D models. You will have to, for example, can find a freelance developer for, I don't know, it may cost you, if you want a really good, like fairly good developer, is going to be $20 an hour, and you can develop it on the, 10, 15 hours first prototype, like a fairly small place, and you can have it in a grant. I think you can get an app in one grant. And yeah, it's fairly easy. Also, as I told you, there are services to create a 3D environment. I've looked through one. I don't know the prices for that, but again, I would not say it's going to cost you more than. I would say that it's not going to cost you more than 1-2 grand to develop a small tour. And there are services, you can look them up. So it's I don't know if you yourself will be able to develop it, because you need good cameras for that. You would need a 360 camera if you want to develop a 360 place that's good use. So you will have to buy this from someone else anyways. You won't be able to develop it by yourself completely. Of course, if you're not a developer, if you're a developer, you will be able to do that, but I don't think you are. So the second question is there any additional questions about that? Do you have any information? What is the demand?
Viola Lewis, do you have any information on what is the demand for the kind of tour experience?
You mean demand like technical demand, or you mean demand from the customers? How many of them want it? I don't have much customers. Yeah, okay. I don't have like true statistics about that, but I know that lots of people used it to just check the site where they're going to visit. Also, on these apps that I've shared, they have a fairly good income. But again, this is maybe not the thing that you are talking about, because these apps are like wholesome products. They're not an advertisement for your tour. For the advertisement of your tours, it's gonna be just a fancy experiment. I don't think that it is so much out yet, because most of people either use it to check out places beforehand, and they use Google stuff mostly to check out the place, to plan their trip. But there are, for example, as I've shown this Lisbon, you've seen that it's 30 euros per family, 30 euros, and per man 10 euros. And they have fairly common. They have enough customers, you know, to sustain this stuff. They have high-res VR with this jetpack thing, and if they're still up from 80 for 5 years, I think they have very sustainable demand. So I don't know if it's like high edge now, but it has its niche. So you can try it out.
Next question, is it possible to do this with GoPro?
To do this with GoPro, yeah? Did I correct it? Okay, yeah. It's possible to do this with any cam. Again, the better res, the better it is, but you will be able to do this with GoPro. For example, you strap it on a drone, you do circling around, you create 3D models. Maybe you'll need to do some additional modeling on the result that you'll have, and it will be done. With the app I shared you, it is possible to do it from GoPro, because people are doing it from their phones, and GoPro has a higher resolution than some phones. And I don't think that you will be able to develop a 360 video, because if you want a real good res, and if you want to have a sustainable image with 360 video, it won't be possible with a GoPro, because it doesn't have this feature. And there are some apps that make it possible to do. It's like a panorama, which you just go around with the GoPro, but still it will have some problems with it. There will be some failed, the image would be not, how would you say that? It won't be 100% accurate, and it won't be cut together nicely, so you won't be able to 360s with GoPro. But the modeling stuff, yeah, you can do that. You can even do it with a drone, so yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
Well, may I introduce the second speaker of our Friendship Forum today. Alena. Our second speaker is Itamar Ben David. He's from Israeli Virtual Tourism Association, Israel. Well, are you ready? And the floor is yours, Itamar Ben David.
Thank you very much. So, Gleb, thank you, and thank you for inviting me. And I think that unlike Gleb, that is coming from a lot of more of the technical knowledge of it, I'm coming from the low-tech end of it. I'm just a tour guide. I'm not. I would even declare myself as a technophobe. And since 2019, I start playing with all the ideas of virtual tourism. And once the pandemic started, I started to just invest all my time in this, and slowly overcame a lot of these technical obstacles. So our association is not exactly an association, it's more of a think tank. I would say that this is the best way to describe it. It's more of a think tank, and this think tank started with a few dozens of, probably 60 now, 60 Israeli tour guides trying to overcome the challenges of being locked at home, and we're really interested in showing our country and share the stories we have and the beauty of Israel. So it started with the lockdown, so not even live on location kind of tourism that we all saw during the pandemic, guides with gimbal showing their destinations. It's actually started with all kinds of presentations, and the ultimate, let's say, the final result of it is a presentation on Google Earth project with pictures and videos and all that. I'll show you in a moment if you're not familiar with it. And the purpose of it was simply to show Israel during the pandemic. But this think tank developed into a much broader scale group. I think at the moment we're a little over 200 people. Some of them are guides, some of them are travel agents, some of them are actually people from the Ministry of Tourism, and some of them are entrepreneurs and actual tech people. And together, we're very oriented to Israel, yeah, but a lot of our conclusions and our solutions are could be helpful for other countries, clearly. So when this think tank that started last January of 2022, we came up with a document. Sadly, it's in Hebrew. We didn't translate it yet, but don't worry. Like all the important conclusions, we'll just send it out there, and I'll share it with you happily. But the general idea of this broader think tank is to promote virtual tourism as a part of legacy tourism. Okay, legacy tourism, as like the tourism we all know until the pandemic, and we do think that virtual tourism and legacy tourism combined is, something that could help promote many different destinations in many different countries and in many new different ways, both for people that are able to travel and those who are not able to travel because of financial difficulties or health issues or time issues or whatever. And the idea is to just bring the world closer together. So I live in Jerusalem. I'm a tour guide here in Israel, clearly, and I just want to take you to a short tour to Israel. And as I just walk you through this, I'll be happy to not just guide you through Israel. This is not really the purpose of it. The point is to just explain, the advantages of virtual tourism for, travel agencies around the world and other stakeholders like hotels, people that have tourist attractions, etc. Okay, so this is Google Earth. Everyone knows that. This is not a rocket science, not at all. So let's say I want to promote the destination of Israel for actual people to come, okay, not just for the sake of virtual tourism. So this, in all different ways, we can actually develop content for social media and make just our destination more familiar with people, make people more familiar with our country, more familiar with our destinations, and even more familiar with us personally. Okay, so during the pandemic, I probably guided 30, maybe more, 1,000 people, and now they know me in person. They saw an entire tour with me of 45 minutes or an hour, or maybe even more, and now they know Itamar in Israel. Okay, so this is for me, it's beneficial simply for that one reason. Okay, so without getting to the geography of Israel, we have the desert in the south, we have more greener area in the north, the Jordan River is on the east. You can see the Sea of Galilee up here and the Dead Sea over here in the Mediterranean. Let's just land in Israel. So one of the things in virtual tourism is that we're actually able to take our future travelers step by step throughout the entire thing. So if there are people that are worried, Israel, as you know, it's a hotspot and we have all these terror attacks and people could be concerned, it's fine. We deal with that, and this could really ease their mind, in terms of understanding the geography, in terms of understanding, the situation. So the pre-arrival meetings is always crucial, or the pre-arrival call is always crucial with people that are coming to Israel. But if you can really walk them through the entire thing, this could really give them some peace of mind. So as we do that, I would also give, all kinds of little inputs of Israeli culture. So here's the Ben Gurion airport, Ben Gurion, our first prime minister. This is not the important part, okay? Here's an airplane approaching Israel. I hope you can see that fine. I'm not sure how the bandwidth is going with what's called with WebEx, but let me know if it's too choppy. I'll just stop with the videos. Okay, so here's a plane coming up and coming to Israel. And if you'll be, let's say you're a foreign traveler, you've never been to Israel before, and now you find yourself in an El Al airplane, and all the Israelis around you start singing. Okay, so this is something that is nice to just be familiar with, that Israelis, when they arrive to Israel, they start singing, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. We brought peace upon you. So everyone is clapping their hands once the pilot touches the ground, and Israelis are very enthusiastic about it, about arriving back after a vacation back to our homeland. So thanks to Google Earth, we are able to travel all over the world. You're probably familiar with that. I'll mention the inputs of it, a few ideas around it a little later. So here's Tel Aviv and Highway 1, and clearly we want to travel to Jerusalem. Here's the airport on our left side. And now you can see the Highway 1. We're approaching the mountains of Judea. Okay, this is the Judean hills over here, all this greenery. And we can approach Jerusalem itself. Here we go. You can see it's not too far from the Dead Sea, actually. And let's take a look. So Gleb was talking about it earlier. I'll get to these models in just a moment. So let's say from the airport, you took a taxi or whatever shuttle you have, or rented a car, clearly to the most expensive hotel in Israel, probably King David Hotel, where all the who's and who's are staying, all the presidents. And with Google Earth, I can actually get, pictures from the royal suite or whatever suite, they're going to stay in. And just, as I'm selling it, here's just the lobby, and no copyright problems with that. This is a picture that I took for the entire presentation. So clearly we need to be careful around that. But this is the lobby of King David Hotel. And here's there's like the Hall of Fame, in King David Hotel of who stayed. So Donald Trump stayed there and Joe Biden. So this is a joke that in the Bible it says in the book of Isaiah that the wolf will live with the lamb and there will be peace. So they are very peaceful over there in the King David Hotel. Their signatures at least are very peaceful side by side. So after they left their stuff in the rooms, we're continuing in this dynamic itinerary, following one day after the other, and we just walk them through the entire adventure in Israel, not just in Jerusalem, okay? But this is just, again, to get the taste of it. So from here, I'm jumping again, not like Lisbon, but still with the help of Google Earth, flying over Jerusalem. And just to connect with what Gleb was talking about, this technology exist in Israel clearly too, creating models from lots of pictures that were taken by drones. So this is not me doing this. This is an Israeli company called Simplex. They created these models in different cities in Israel, not for the purpose of tourism, but for the purpose of urban planning and architecture and architects and all that. So what you see here is the old city from Jaffa Gate. Jaffa Gate is this area over here. You can see the Dome of the Rock and the Mount of Olives. So just so we can play a little bit with it here from another angle. This is from the Mount of Olives, and This is from the city of David. Again, the details are not important. What's important is that the ability to fly over Jerusalem with all these models, I can totally connect to that. I'm not the person that actually do that, but we have the right people to do all of these, to use all of these technologies and implement it. Okay, so let's land now in the city of David. This is called ancient Jerusalem. So for many people, ancient Jerusalem, 4,000 years old Jerusalem, is a challenge in terms of, the just physical challenge. So many elderly people are not really able to walk through the city of David. Maybe they'll go just to the viewpoint, and that's it. They'll have to rest for the rest of it, for the rest of the site, as their group is traveling by. But there is no reason for them really to miss all of the amazing archaeology that we have over there and the beautiful views. So you can see the Temple Mount and Al-Aqsa Mosque. If we have Muslims on the call, then this is one of the most important at least for Sunnis, most important mosques in the world after Mecca and Medina. We have the Mount of Olives right over here, ancient Jerusalem, and that's how it looks like. Okay, just a quick look at the city of David. From there, I can go and talk about the archaeology, okay, using these simply photospheres kindly given to us by Google Earth, and then we go down, okay, down in the different tunnels. There are a few different tunnels. Again, my emphasis now is not on the content. My emphasis now is how to help those who are not really able to travel around and to give them the opportunity of visiting the city of David despite of all the stairs around. Okay, so we have this area over here. This is just 3,700 years old tunnel. What you see over here in ancient Jerusalem, there's much to say about it. This is the city that was conquered by King David. After that, I want to take you to a famous place, very important for Christians all around the world, the Siloam Pool, where Jesus healed the blind man in the Siloam Pool. This is just 10% of the actual size of the pool. We don't have the original pool, we don't have the full size of the pool. And from there, we can just continue on the Pilgrim's Road from the Siloam Pool. This is just a picture, of course, okay? I'm just jumping as fast as humanly possible, okay? But clearly, I can send you recordings of all of these tours in great details, okay? So all these pavement stones, by the way, these pavement stones, this is all original. This is from the time of Jesus. This is 2,000 years old. This is the original Pilgrim's Road from the Siloam Pool up to the Temple Mount, and our plan is to go up there. So again, this is 800 meters stairway going up to the Temple Mount. So not everyone are able to do that. Let's say they can afford coming to Israel. Not everyone are physically able to climb up all these stairs. Okay, so this is how it looks like today, and they're opening the bigger Pilgrim's Road very, very soon. So it's very impressive. I've seen all the pictures and videos from there. Super duper impressive. Okay, all that video is taking us to the Western Wall, basically. So jumping now to the Western Wall. Here we are, the Western Wall. So I'm talking about 15 million Jews around the world, but there's also more than 2 billion Christians and 1.7 or so billion Muslims around the world. Not all of them are able to come to Israel. So in the peak of tourism back in 2019, we had, what is that, like 4.6 million tourists coming to Israel. So clearly, these are not massive numbers. Okay, just New York City alone, I think, is like 50 or 60 million people a year. But the idea is that we can make Israel accessible for everyone, okay, including those countries that are not in diplomatic relationship with Israel, but do cherish all these heritage sites and religious sites in the country. So there's no reason to exclude them simply because they can't arrive, okay? So over here, for example, there's the entrance to the Western Wall, and this little booth over here, this is for the entrance to the Temple Mount. You can see there's a bridge going up to the Temple Mount, just the holiest place on earth, really. So we can actually climb using these videos or photospheres or pictures, okay? Or later in the Metaverse, we'll have these immersive ways of bringing the people to Jerusalem and to any other destination, clearly. So this is the entrance to the Temple Mount. There's this bridge for non-Muslims. This particular gate is for non-Muslims. We have this tradition of entering the city with the right foot. Okay, entering not just the city, entering the Temple Mount, entering the city, entering holy sites with the right foot, and voila. And we just entered the holiest place on earth, the Temple Mount. Okay, so from here, let's just jump a little bit. We can see the Dome of the Rock. For the sake of the Muslims on the call, just a quick look at Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is the entrance of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Okay. Okay, so now let's focus on the temple itself. So from the perspective of Jews and Christians and other non-Muslims that are coming to the Temple Mount, since the year 2000 approximately, we're not able to visit the actual mosques, the actual buildings. Okay, in the past, the Muslim guards used to sell tickets for it. They stopped doing it 20 years ago, and we're not able to visit the actual buildings. Okay, that's number one. Number two, as far as Jews concerned, we have all kinds of purity issues of visiting specific parts of the Temple Mount, and for some Jews, they even completely avoiding entering the Temple Mount. So even for Israelis, even for Jews around the world, we restrict ourselves from climbing the holiest place for us. Okay, so virtual tourism is totally needed in that respect. So this is just a simple model of the temple and how it looked like in the days of Jesus. There's the altar, there's the temple itself. Okay, again, the details are not important. What's important is that we are actually able to visit, thanks to different Muslims that took videos and pictures for us, we're actually able to visit it. So I'll stop sharing for just 1 second. I want to just put this on, put this link on the chat, so you'll be able to enjoy it in the best resolution. Where is it? Here we go. Just I invite you to just enjoy the Bookify. Oh no, what happened? Okay, this is strange. Let me just do it again. I invite you to simply press the link. I'm going to put that in the chat. Let's give it another try. Oh, okay, now it's working. Okay, good. So you have this link on the chat. Thanks to Bookify and a Muslim friend of theirs, we're able to see the Dome of the Rock from inside. So this is great for Jews that avoiding entering even if they were allowed to, because of purity reasons, we're not allowed to go inside. And for Muslims around the world that aren't able, because of, let's say, diplomatic problems and lack of diplomatic relationship between their country and Israel, they can visit the Dome of the Rock, okay, Kubet al-Sakhra. So I highly recommend you to check this video now as I'm talking. I'm going to show it on the main screen, but if you want to really enjoy this, I think you should just click the link. Now, this is a 360 video. Okay, it's a 360 video. I just want to show the quality could be really, really high. It's like taken 4K. If I'll do 4K, it's going to be extremely choppy. So I'm just going to leave it like in a lower resolution. But this is 4K, and you can actually move around. Okay, move around the video and see the Dome of the Rock and the foundation stone, of all the important traditions that are connected to this place, such as the creation of Adam and Eve, binding of Isaac, etc., all these biblical traditions, and of course the Islamic tradition of Al-Isra wa Al-Mi'raj, okay, the ascension of Prophet Muhammad to heaven to get the commandment of prayer. So all of that is now accessible, okay? So places that are very, very close, okay, yet again, we're not able to get there, now is totally accessible. Okay, so lastly, just before we, oh, you know what? There's one thing over here I think I missed, the Western Wall. Okay, so here's the Western Wall. I want to talk about not just the geography, but also the time. Okay, so specifically now, this is the time of the year of the Jewish high holidays, and it's not like everyone that are coming to Israel are enjoying the high holidays and its special spirit and you know, its special atmosphere. It's just like, you know, visiting Christmas in New York on Christmas, or visiting whatever, Bethlehem on Christmas. This is a better example, actually. So not everyone enjoy the holiday spirit, okay? But virtually, we're actually able to create all these experiences online that can really immerse the people in the atmosphere. Okay, so what you see on the right side, let me just, I see there's stuff going on in the chat, or I think at least there's stuff on the chat, but I'll get to it later. Okay, so for example, just bar mitzvah days. Okay, bar mitzvah days are pretty frequent every Monday and Thursday. It's great atmosphere. You'll see all these Jewish families coming with their bar mitzvah boys, 13 years old boys, reading the Torah and all of that. Okay, here, reading the Torah and all of that. The prayer is like taking place 24/7 at the temple, at the Western Wall, and leaving notes at the Western Wall is very popular. Even people from abroad are sending their prayers to the chief rabbi of the Western Wall, and they actually put it in the wall and everything. But what about high holidays, okay, such as Passover or the Feast of Tabernacles and all the rest of it? These are extremely important times of the year with ecstatic energy to it. So thanks to these technologies that Gleb mentioned and what I'm trying to present, the idea is to give these people that are not able to come to the country an immersive experience of all of that. So this is the priestly blessing of the Western Wall. This is an extremely ecstatic moment. I must say, it's only 3 minutes. Twice a year, it happens for 3 minutes. So this is really something else. Okay, different high holidays. Okay, 9th of Av, which is the commemorating holiday of the destruction of the temple. So also very ecstatic. Thousands of people, sometimes tens of thousands of people are visiting. There's no other way to deliver this experience other than on the virtual space. Okay, Independence Day of Israel and soldiers swearing in. Most tourists will never see that. Okay, even if they're coming to Israel, they will never see that. So this is our way of, our opportunity to give this experience on the online world, or at least the digital world, virtual world. Okay, so here's the view from the Mount of Olives. I can't say how exciting this view is, and for people who are coming to Israel and people who live in Israel, even though I've been guiding for 16 years, every time I see this view, it's something else. So just a quick overview of that. So let's just wrap this part. I was trying to convey the reasons why we should use virtual tourism in terms of overcome time and space and give the atmosphere of different holidays, or enable people that are not able, of course, to come to the country. All of that is, I think we made this point pretty clear during the pandemic, that this is extremely crucial. But I want to talk in the next few minutes about other things that we can use virtual tourism for. Unless there are questions, I'll stop for a few minutes and then I'll continue. No, I see that. Okay, I thought there was something on the chat, but I was wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
Негора, переведете мой вопрос?
Да, конечно. Ну, тут вопрос на английском. Do you have any information on that?
Да,
On what?
От Виолы, да? What is the demand for this kind of tours or experience?
Okay, so in terms of demand, during the pandemic, we've seen these ups and downs. Okay, so every time there was a world lockdown, or every winter, there was more demand clearly, and then people were loose and they were allowed to go about their business. So there was a decline in demand, generally speaking. Okay, generally speaking, this is not true for every guide or every virtual tourism company, etc. Some people managed to keep their line pretty steady up, or almost steady, constantly going up. I would say that now, and this is also the title of our of the panel, in terms of education, we see more groups of people that are not able basically to come to the country or to any other destination. Yeah, it could be senior homes, could be children, could be students. They want to get some nice understanding of a particular area with particular topic or theme, and they're still this is still on demand. So every month they have a few of these tours, whether it's schools or universities or senior citizens, or during the pandemic I also had the experience to guide blind people and deaf people. Okay, so even for them this is great. It could also work for people that are being hospitalized. I didn't do this too often, but some of my friends in this think tank of ours, they gave these tours, so this could actually work. Okay, so it's a matter of marketing basically. I would say that generally speaking, people are interested in traveling. Okay, but I'm just trying to merge together, and this is the emphasis of our think tank, to merge together the legacy tourism that we all love and cherish, okay, with virtual tourism and virtual tools that enable them to experience the country from afar, experience our destination from afar, like I said earlier. Okay, I see something that is going on in the chat. Thank you, Viola. And Alona, is Israel the most advanced country in the field of virtual tourism? I don't know, like I don't have power meters to actually measure that, but I can say that in terms of our think tanks, to be more accurate, the think tanks here are pretty massive. So we're talking about many, many people that are involved in thinking about it and you know, playing with it and sharing their knowledge and experience with one another. So basically we play with our cards open for the most part. Okay, that's how we did it during the pandemic. And I don't know if Israel is the most advanced in the field. I don't really know, but what I do know is that the level of collaboration is very high. So people are familiar with each other. People know who are the players and what they do, and they're willing to share data even, okay? So this is how we manage to promote it. What example of other countries do you know that you should pay attention to? Okay, so if you're familiar with Hago, then we have a group of guides on Hago. I think like, at least on my WhatsApp group, there are 70 of them. We have a Slack group with, I believe, more than 150 tour guides. And also sharing information, sharing experience, sharing knowledge of how to do things. So I would say that these Hago guides are coming from dozens of different countries. So I don't know if there's a specific country you should focus on. I just know that in every country there are at least one person that I can point out, oh, he's doing this in this country or that country, and maybe he is more familiar with the ecosystem in his specific country or his or her specific destination. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly if there is like, yeah, I guess that if you ask me specifically about a country, I can just connect you to that local guide, and they will let you know what's going on in their ecosystem. I have been to, what is that? Your country, Namaste. Ah, that's cool. Welcome from the Philippines. Does the organization do all this and so on? Okay, so it's not an organization really, it's a think tank. So these are colleagues basically that until the pandemic started, we knew each other from simply guiding. And the think tank is it's a think tank. So people share more or share less, or give more advice to others. So I wouldn't say that there is something in terms of commercial activity or business-wise, we're not in touch with each other. Okay, so we're not connected to each other. There is between the guides, there is some legal agreement about all kinds of other things that are associated with copyrights. But in the terms of the think tank, and that's really how we operate, we don't have necessarily business relationship inside. Okay, so that's I hope it answers your question. I didn't really finish, so stay tuned. I'm taking it back. Gleb, thank you for the extra 10 minutes. So okay. The thing that I want to point out now is more about what can we do that is not exactly. I'll divide it to two things. Okay, number one is the use of virtual tourism for clients that are planning to come to our destination. Okay, so I talked about the pre-arrival sessions that creates confidence in you as a guide or you as a travel agent. I mentioned the dynamic itinerary. You know what? I'll leave this video. I created this very simple video of how to work with Google Earth project, and if you want to create whatever project you have in mind, you're just able to watch this and use it. Okay, it's on my YouTube channel, and the link is now here. Just if you're not familiar with Google Earth, then this is the way to work with it. So pre-arrival sessions, dynamic itinerary, like what I just, the link that I just pointed out. And also in the case of Israel, there's so much to see in this country. So 2 weeks will not be sufficient. 3 weeks will not be sufficient. There's always something else, another thing to see. So for, let's say, a lot of, historically, the Holy Land, okay, a lot of our tours are actually for religious groups, okay, whether it's Christian or Jewish or Muslim, okay, they're coming to see these major sites. but they'll never cover everything that is important. So the idea is that virtual tourism enables us to have these sessions before or after or during the tour, during the actual physical tour, to add another site, but virtually, not really going to that site. So if there is, for example, if it's winter time, okay, the hours are limited, or many things are closing around 4 p.m. You just have the ability to go back to the hotel, relax a little bit, meet the guide for a short session of 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and experience another site in Israel. This is one little example, okay? Also, before the actual physical tour, you can have these pre-arrival sessions on a monthly basis, preparing them to visit the country. And after the tour, they can also meet each other, once, twice, 3 times a year, and add a little more to the experience. Okay. So that's about the tours, the visitors that are actually coming to Israel. I want to explain something about the virtual tourism combined with an in-person group. Okay, so I'm giving you the Israeli take on it. Okay, but clearly you can adjust it to your destination. So in Israel, for example, we have this thing called birthright groups. Okay, birthright are Jews from other countries that are visiting Israel for a week or 2 weeks. Okay, and they explore the country. They rediscover their Jewish roots and how it's connected to Israel, etc., etc. Okay, so now that we have that. What about their parents? Okay, they leave behind, their families and friends that they won't experience the birthright tour clearly, but maybe they can join for 1 or 2 moments in their tour. For example, they can join them on Masada, which is a major highlight, or they can join them in Jerusalem. And with the group and their guide, okay, there's another guy joining them with a gimbal and a phone. He's giving the families back home a live stream experience from the Western Wall or from Masada with the people, with their children basically in the screen. Okay, and they can actually interview them and have these interaction. So this is another little idea of how you can combine virtual tourism with a legacy tourism. I'll give you another example. A church group. Okay, they're by the Sea of Galilee or they're in Caesarea, and the church group is like 40 people or so. Okay, but they have families, they have friends back home, people from their congregation that have no. They are not in Israel for whatever reason, okay? They're old age or have financial difficulties, no problem. In highlights of the tour, the group will be joined by a virtual guide that will give their family or the congregation back home the experience of that site, and they actually see their family members or group of congregation members in the screen. Another thing that we have, and we normally don't think about tourism like that, we think about it as packages in a certain destination or a certain country, or maybe a group of countries, a cluster of countries. 2 years ago, we had the Abraham Accord signed up with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and Morocco, Sudan, okay? So my family is originally from Morocco, Jewish family from Morocco, and I've never been to Morocco, but some of my family members were, okay? The idea is that I can virtually travel to Morocco or give this particular virtual experience in Morocco to my family members. Or, for example, I can create a Google project or even a little production with local guides, let's say in Spain or in Morocco, of course, and in Jerusalem, and how the family story goes about. Okay, so these are usually Sephardic families from Spain that were expelled after the Reconquista, ended up in Morocco and then immigrated to Israel. Okay, so I can actually play with that with a little production and create a magnet event. Let's say I'm a travel agent for outbound tourism and I want to have more Israelis going out to that destination, or let's say I'm a Moroccan agent that want to draw more Israeli travelers. No problem. Let's give them the Sephardic experience and have a guide in Cordoba, have a guide in Granada, have a guide in Malaga, and of course in Fez or Meknes or Rabat or whatever in Morocco. And then I give them the full experience of what's gonna be there. Okay, it's gonna be like an hour session or an hour and a half session, and they're gonna see all the highlights of their tour. So that's just another example. I want to go back to the Abraham's Accord, specifically with the UAE, and we have warming relationship with Saudi Arabia, for example. And let's say the Incense Road. Okay, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That's the road, the commercial road from the Arabian Peninsula all the way to Gaza to the Gaza port. And you know, until recently, we were not even thinking in these terms of, having Israel combined with, Egypt and Jordan, fine, we have peace agreement. But what about the Incense Road, giving the full experience of the Incense Road online, okay? So this is something now we can dream about. So that's just another thought. And for Christians, think about the travel experience, following Paul's epistles and different communities that he established in the first century CE. These are kind of things that we should just think about, how virtual tourism basically break geography completely. Adding to that, something that Gleb mentioned, I really am very happy that he was first, because you've seen what he was talking about. All these three-dimensional models. So this brings us to all the AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality, and XR, generally speaking, the extended reality. And just think about people that are interested in looking at, again, I'm taking my example, Jerusalem. They want to see Jerusalem. And now they're able to see Jerusalem thanks to all this technology, not just from, a person like from the street view, okay? They can fly and hover over the city, just like Gleb showed us about Lisbon. So they can fly over the city, and just imagine they are flying over just the city of Jerusalem, and they do like this slide movement, and they jump now to a different time, meaning they jump now to 1,000 years ago to the Crusaders, or 2,000 years ago to the days of the Romans in Jerusalem, or even earlier. Okay, and they can actually have a quest, kind of a quest design, or an escape room design of a virtual tourism experience, and they can explore the country, explore the city in different different eras, or historic eras. So that's another thing that I think that in the future virtual tourism will go to. So at the moment, Metaverse is not fully developed. Clearly, it will take a few years, of course. We simply don't have the hardware, and we don't have the. I don't think it's fully conceptualized. So if you go on Metaverse now, it looks like a bad video game from the late 90s or so. But in the future, we'll have immersive experiences of these different sites and these different historical times. Okay, so you can walk in the footsteps of Jesus, like quite literally. You'll see the market, designed in the right way. We have archaeologists that are actually helping building all these environments on Metaverse and on the virtual space. Or you can walk, as I said, Crusaders Jerusalem or Muslim Jerusalem in different time periods, and really experience and see the city in all these different times. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Itamar Ben David. It was really informative and interesting, I think, and all of us can feel ourselves in this country and these ancient places. And I think that it is the places among must-go places. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and Shana Tova from Jerusalem. Happy New Year from Jerusalem.
Yes,
I can blow the shofar if you want. I have the shofar right here.
Thank you. Well, now, Alona, it's your turn. Will you be the next speaker, or we have one more?
Вячеслав не выходит на связь. Наверное, они где-то с Яниной вместе, не знаю, где они там, что-то с ними, может, случилось, но пока не выходит на связь. Поэтому можете объявить меня.
Okay, just a minute. Due to some circumstances, our next speaker is not in our auditorium now, and now we give the floor to Alona. You know Alona for many years. She is one of our partner institutes, and Alona Nilepova will present her topic today. It's on digital marketing.
Здравствуйте все. Я занимаюсь диджитал-маркетингом около 10 лет и хотела бы поделиться с вами опытом.
Well, hello everybody. I'm in digital marketing for 10 years, and today I want to share my experience with you.
Сейчас я представляю Национальный университет биоресурсов и природопользования Украины. Я являюсь кандидатом наук и доцентом кафедры информационных систем и технологий.
Alona works for National University of Bioresources and Nature Management of Ukraine, and she is associate professor of the Department of Information Systems and Technologies.
Мы рассмотрим несколько вопросов. Каждый из них достаточно важен, потому что в общем получается большая картинка.
Today we have many questions, problems for discussion, and I will present them step by step. Alona?
Первый вопрос – это инструменты, с помощью которого строится интернет-маркетинг.
First of them is internet marketing tools.
Стратегии продвижения и личный бренд.
Promotion strategy and personal brand.
Конкретизируем целевые аудитории и их интересы.
Target of the audience and their interests.
Также расскажу про социальные сети и платформы для туристических гидов.
Social networks and platforms for touristic guides.
Итак, первый вопрос – инструменты интернет-маркетинга.
Our first question for discussion is tools, digital tools and internet marketing.
Любой гид задает вопрос, что ищут люди?
All guides give such a question, what people need, what they are looking for.
Людям всегда интересны большие эмоции, новинки, разные истории и другие люди.
And the experience shows us that people are interested in emotions, new stories, and people.
Когда человек планирует свой план путешествия, он обращает внимание на все.
Well, when some people are planning to go somewhere for tourism, they pay attention to all the things.
Он, подбирая новый маршрут, он исследует отели, гидов, рестораны и все точки, где он будет останавливаться.
In the process of choosing his itinerary, he pays attention to everything. Social nets, design, brand, advertising on SEO, social networks, marketing and target audience, and all these interesting for people who are going to somewhere for traveling.
Он спрашивает людей, путешественник спрашивает людей, своих друзей, а также ищет очень много информации в сети.
Usually people ask their friends or people who traveled there before about their experience, about their feelings from that country.
И как только он ищет информацию в сети, туризм начинается гоняться за ним.
And as soon as he started to find any information from internet, and tourism is following him to attract his attention.
Поисковые сети работают таким образом, что помогают поддерживать интерес покупателя.
All the advertising, tourism advertising are working on him to attract in some ways this future tourism and his hotel or other tourism infrastructure.
Поэтому, если вы постоянно присутствуете в сети, первым, кого он увидит, это будете вы.
And if you exist on websites, and you will be first whom he replied, the tourist will reply.
Поэтому нужно обратить внимание на свой бренд, на дизайн и свои социальные сети.
And it's important thing that you should pay attention for your design, web analysis, your internet.
Также, помимо того, что я перечислила, есть другие каналы, через которые узнают про вашу страну, про ваши туристические маршруты.
And except all of these noted above, they also have some other channels where they can get information about your country and about your destinations.
Радио и телевидение и социальные сети занимают 86% визуальной информации для путешественника.
Usually they are radio and TV which have much information about your destinations.
С помощью веб-аналитики можно изучить все посещения и все запросы в сети интернет.
Using analysis, you can get information from internet about the destination where you are going for.
И не забывайте, пожалуйста, о возможности мобильных технологий, мобильного маркетинга.
And don't miss about the opportunities of mobile technologies and mobile marketing. Алена, это сейчас у вас какой будет слайд? Я что-то совсем с цифрами сейчас.
Не знаю, какой по номеру. Не пишет.
Сейчас у нас стратегия продвижения и собственный бренд. Ага, все, слайд 8. Окей.
Давайте исследуем дорогу, по которой стоит идти для того, чтобы путешественник узнал все больше и больше про ваш туристический маршрут.
Let's study first of all the way which your future tourist will pass through to your destination.
Разработка идеологии и бренда, истории – это самое важное, что мы можем дать покупателю.
The road, which way to go or how to take the result. 96%. The problem of the entrepreneurs are repaired as if the instruments were victorious one by one or often. The user understands that a quality product is expensive and he is ready to pay for his pleasure and development formation of the information field.
Окей. Немножко статистики про социальные сети.
Some statistics about net.
В 2021 году пользователями Фейсбука, Твиттера, Пинтереста, Google, Instagram было такое количество человек.
And there you can see the information about the uses of Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google, and Instagram.
Целевая аудитория в сети и портрет покупателя.
Uses of social networks. The Instagram audience in Ukraine has grown almost 1.5 times over the past months and a half, from 3.8 million to 5.6 million users.
Наш герой – это обычный покупатель, а также юридические лица. Это отельно-ресторанный бизнес, это агентства, которые также заказывают ваши услуги.
Now we can see the portrait of Bai. Yes, Bai is our future tourist. He is our hero and target audience and its segments. And it is B2B, hotel and restaurants business, firms, as organizations and companies, state and international.
Поэтому, когда вы настраиваете свою таргетированную рекламу, обратите внимание, кому вы ее посылаете.
When you choose and work on your promotion, you should pay attention who will be it is directed for.
Только после настройки правильно целевой аудитории в рекламном кабинете вы сможете получить хорошие бенефиты.
You can get good benefits if you pay attention for your target audience.
Вот такое количество пользователей в 2018 году было по всему миру.
And now you can see the number of users in 2018.
И 42% от этого выходят в сеть с помощью смартфонов.
And 42 of the users represented here use internet by their cellular mobile phones.
В 2022 году 72%.
In 2022, 72% of users.
Да, именно тех людей, которые выходят в интернет с помощью смартфонов.
It is the number of people who exactly use internet from their mobiles.
Вот такие сейчас любят истории путешественники и следят за блогерами.
Nowadays, travelers like such kind of stories, and they follow for bloggers.
Люди хотят прожить эмоцию раннего утра, солнечного дня, наслаждения вкусной едой и знакомством с другими людьми.
By these pictures, you can imagine what they want. They want to see a fresh air, sun brighting, fresh air of the morning. They want to feel all by themselves and see.
Поэтому, когда вы составляете контент, обратите внимание на мелочи.
And when you work on your content of your site, you should pay attention to these small things and the content of your future promotion.
Также есть много платформ, с помощью которых туристические гиды могут разместить информацию про себя.
Also, nowadays we have very many sites where bloggers can put the information about the destinations, and bloggers can perform their own information about the destinations.
На этом сайте тургиды и путешественники делятся большим количеством своих эмоций.
А название вот это Weibo, да?
Да, Weibo, да.
On this site, Weibo, usually tourists share their experience and impressions after visiting any of destinations.
Следующий сайт, где можно найти большое количество экскурсий и подобрать себе гида практически во всех странах мира.
And the other interesting site for tourists where they can also find information for themselves about their future destinations.
Этот сайт работает около 15 лет, и у них большой опыт.
This site is working for 15 years, and this site has very much experience in this field.
У них на сайте, кроме городских экскурсий, присутствуют все виды экскурсий и приключения в том числе.
Except the destinations of the city, their city, they also introduce other kind of travelings and in some about advantages, yes, приключения.
У них также есть на сайте электронные подарочные карты.
They also introduce you some special cards, gift cards.
Для того, чтобы гиды могли презентовать мини-экскурсии в подарок.
It's for guides, and so guides can give these special cards with gifts to their tourists, and even they can get some of excursions free of charge.
Также Rent a Guide сайт, который позволяет покупать, заказывать гида и рассматривать достопримечательности.
And this is the next site where also you can find a guide for your future traveling and get much information about the destinations.
Обратите внимание, что они говорят о том, что у них 30 тысяч выдающихся впечатлений.
Pay attention, please, that they introduce here more than 30,000 expressions of people who have visited.
Также каждая страна пытается создать свой сайт для туристических гидов и презентовать их миру.
And nowadays we see that almost all of the country has their own sites where they present us information about their country, about their heritage, about their destinations, and it's very acceptable nowadays.
Но известные платформы в большинстве случаев попадаются путешественникам, а не государственные.
Как это понять? Не государственные,
Государственные сайты имеется в виду туристических гидов, где они представлены. Поняли?
But most of them are not governmental or public sites, but они в смысле разработанные гидами?
В смысле, поисковая система Google выдает в большинстве случаев коммерческие сайты, а не государственные.
Meanwhile, all the countries have their public sites, but usually Google gives to the travelers not public or governmental sites, but private sites for tourism, for tourists.
Поэтому стоит зарегистрироваться на большом количестве сайтов мирового значения.
That's why it will be better to sign in on official public sites.
Еще один пример приключений всемирного значения.
One more example. We want to introduce you about the advantage which happened. Где это произошло?
Это международный сайт embark.org.
It's embark.org site, and they suggest you.
В большей степени этот сайт для приключений. Для приключений.
Also, this site suggests you some advantages or adventure tourism.
Для тех, кого интересует местный колорит.
It's for those tourists who are interested in some special things of that country. For example, people, maybe kitchen, maybe some traditions, something special.
Именно поэтому стоит туристическому гиду регистрироваться на таких сайтах, как embark.org.
And so we think that guides should sign on such kind of sites to be closer to the tourists, and they should be informed about such kind of sites, and they can in future they can present to the tourists such kind of touristic itineraries.
Есть еще один сайт Show Around, который позволяет точно так же знакомиться с местным колоритом и продвигает туризм.
And this is the next such site. It's named Show Round. They also specialized on national specific of the country.
Тоже международный. Здесь очень много зарегистрированных пользователей и туристических гидов со всего мира.
And it's an international one, and it has very many followers.
Есть также для русскоговорящих гидов большое количество сайтов, например, Shiroop.
This is Shiroop site. It is for Russian-speaking guides.
Также хорошо взаимодействовать всегда с блогерами через Instagram, через YouTube, меняться информацией и вместе выступать на каких-то фестивалях и конференциях, онлайн-встречах.
We think that it's better that we should be closer with the bloggers and opinion leaders, become a blogger yourself or interact with them, and then you can be informed about the news and about the destinations peculiarities from this kind of guides.
Это позволяет увеличить информационное пространство вокруг вокруг вас.
And we think that it helps you to be informative and to have much information and not to miss any small things.
Чем больше точек взаимодействия с другими людьми в сети, тем быстрее вас увидят путешественники.
As much as you will be in contact with the internet, with such kind of sites, it will be your success in future that much people know about you and about your organization or about your destinations.
Поисковые системы Google, Bing выставляют рейтинг каждому слову.
Google and Bing, you know that they give the scores for each word which used in internet.
Именно поэтому упоминание названия вашего туристического маршрута и вас является приоритетным.
And it means exactly that as often the name of your country or destination will be used in internet, it will give you your success in future.
Спасибо большое. Давайте объединяться мостом дружбы. И я очень рада, что мы смогли еще раз организовать этот форум.
Thank you, Alena, very much. And I think that all the participants of our friendship bridge? No, Alona Nilepova, because she is the initiator of our this forum, and this year we held it's the third time, and the number of participants is growing from year by year, and we are very glad for that, to see new participants, new speakers on our bridge. Alona, thank you for your informative speech, and thank you for your help to organize this some meeting for us.
Негора, есть сообщение от спикера Вячеслава Орещенко. Написал, что с ним все в порядке, он запишет видео, и потом можно будет посмотреть на YouTube.
Прекрасно. Alona said that now we have information that Vyacheslav Areshenko is okay. He hasn't, problems, but in some days he will record his speech, and we can get in our group, in Telegram group or
Да, YouTube и Telegram, WhatsApp. И он расскажет про метавселенную и токены в туристическом бизнесе.
Угу. Что токены? Я не айтишник.
Ну, тогда просто скажите, метавселенная и виртуальная реальность. Метавселенная – это игры для туризма, так скажем, игры путешествия.
Vyacheslav has very interesting topic about using of games in tourism, and wait, because it's very interesting, and I think in a few days we can get to our WhatsApp or Telegram groups. Thank you. And if you have any questions to Alona, please, you're welcome. Похоже, нет вопросов. Можно я тогда вам задам вопрос? Вот, Алена, смотрите, когда собираешься какую-нибудь очередную поездку, обычно начинаешь искать, билеты, конечно, accommodation, стараешься забронировать. И их так много сейчас, даже иногда вот я как бы, сомневаюсь, какой из них все-таки лучше, вот в плане цен или в плане гарантий, что я завтра не окажусь потом, без билета или без номера в гостинице. Есть все-таки такие, которые, более, легальные, я не знаю, как это правильно назвать, или более проверенные. Что вы порекомендуете?
Скорее всего, лучше пользоваться теми, которые давно на рынке. Это первое. И второе, никогда нельзя гнаться за дешевизной. То есть дешевые, низкие цены не означают качественная услуга. Если мы говорим про заказ билета, помещения и так далее, есть платформы, как Booking, который предоставляет все и рассматривает тоже сейчас выведение тургидов к ним туда, чтобы можно было заказать, например, и тургидов в том числе.
Да, вот Booking очень интересно, потому что как купишь билет, сразу тебе предлагают reservation of accommodations, как сделаешь reservation, сразу тебе предлагают вот attraction, то есть музеи, это train tickets тут же bus tickets. Booking, конечно, сейчас я тоже так думаю, что на первом месте. Но вот просто есть еще авиасейлс, вот не знаешь, авиасейлс или Booking с выкупом билетов, что лучше. Поэтому я вам как специалисту задала вопрос. Спасибо большое за ответ. Еще у кого-нибудь будут, уважаемая аудитория, вопросы к нашей докладчице? Do you have any questions to Alena Nilepova? You may write in chat or... Похоже, нет вопросов, Алена. Тогда вы объявите, да, что наш второй день закончен?
Объявить на русском вы переведете?
Да.
Угу. Наш второй день закончен. Завтра мы послушаем еще спикеров, которые тоже продолжат тему виртуального туризма в том числе. И переведите это, я потом следующее. Хорошо?
If you have no questions, now we can make some conclusion for our second day. And also we invite you to take part tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have some topics on digital tourism and digital marketing. And also it is on gastronomic tourism, yes?
Да, завтра выступят спикеры Израиля, Болгарии, Бразилии и Аргентины.
Tomorrow we will
также
have
Молдавии.
4 more speakers from Bulgaria, Israel, and we are waiting for you tomorrow.
Завтра также еще добавится в программу представитель Молдавии, который расскажет про свои интересные места и гастротуризм в их стране.
Also tomorrow we'll have speaker from Moldova, and he will tell us about gastronomic tourism of Moldova, and also he will tell us about some destinations in Moldova.
Рекомендую не пропустить доклады Грейс Берфин из Бразилии и Келли Таварис из Аргентины. Они очень интересные спикеры.
And also we have a great speakers from Brazil and Argentina tomorrow, and don't miss them, please.
Ждите анонс в ваших WhatsApp-группах.
We will give you some information in your WhatsApp group.
Все, всем спасибо большое.
That's all. It was very interesting and informative day today. Thank you very much. Thank you for your participation, for your speech, and bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.
Спасибо вам. До свидания.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.